I'm Jason Lynette, and this is Work Smart Hypnosis Live. Now, it's a little bit more of a casual, off-the-cuff video as I'm here getting together the manuals for the training. I'm setting up for the next event, which is currently sold out. Though be sure to look at the WorkSmartHypnosisLive.com website for upcoming events. And a little bit more of a casual video because I'll show you this. I've got the boxes where Staples delivers online printing for me. That way I don't have to do it. And then, as much as I'm the automation guy, I like putting it together myself. I enjoy that part of it, and thought for at least one manual I'll take out the earbuds that I'm listening to an audiobook and chat with you. Because I'll give you some of the history behind Work Smart Hypnosis Live. This is an event that has really morphed over time. That, you know, rather than doing a class where you're handing out a lot of old, outdated manuals, which that's one problem. The bigger problem was this, was that I did not feel comfortable doing a training that was not showcasing the work that I actually do. You know, you can kind of see back over there is the room where I see clients here at my Virginia hypnosis office. And if you're going to lay down the money for an event, if you're going to travel towards a training, as many people do for this event, you should be learning what that person actually does. This is the terminology that I use of the hypnotic worker, someone who's actually doing the work of professional hypnosis while also sharing it with others, which is exactly what this event is about. So it's where over time, you can see behind me, I used to have a bunch of disconnected handouts, which eventually, let me grab this over here, and hopefully I'm still in frame of the camera. That's the suggested reading list. Is what morphed into, as of at least the time of this video, 124 pages of the Hypnosis Practitioner Manual for, here we go, woohoo, Work Smart Hypnosis Live. And kind of realizing, at least before my Work Smart business book came out, holy crap, I wrote a book, which this is showcasing the actual work that I do with my clients. You know, this is material you won't find anywhere else, because this is the stuff that I do. Some of it is my take on some classic strategies of hypnosis. And where the structure of this is that we begin with very simple principles and then begin to layer on top of that more advanced strategies. You can see behind me all the papers on the walls where the over time in the classes, the practice sessions get longer and longer and longer. And here comes that magical confidence moment where the students realize, I just did a whole session. Cool, which I'll show you, and I'm going to do one of these while we're chatting here, which is that over time, realizing I might be out of frame, but I'll come back, I promise. Yeah, I'm in there. Where here's the self-hypnosis strategy that I share with my clients, that I teach to my students. Here's a collection of some resources that I have permission to share from another hypnotist. Here are some of the forms that I actually use with my clients. So again, this isn't the game of keeping the good stuff behind the curtain. You're getting the real work, the real snapshot of exactly what I'm doing with my clients. Getting into specific strategies, which again, some of it may deliver, as most hypnosis trainings do, as here's a script. Now, here's the catchphrase to this. Do you like the color coding, by the way? This way I can go open up to the yellow page, which these are actually pages from that book over there. And the reason I do this is that these are some of those resources we may go back to time and time again in class. We put them in a binder, and that way it's easily captured. And the students at the live event, of course, get the Word documents and the PDFs of all of this. This way you can, you know, modify it for yourself. But like if you look here, this may show up on screen. I don't want to get too close that it kills the lighting effect. I'm nicely shadowed there. Is that, again, a lot of what I teach is in the form of an outline. So rather than here's your script for this, here's your script for that, it's a training based upon universal mechanisms of change. What has to happen for someone to create the result? And basically, what's that structure of change? And once we understand that, well, here comes your stop smoking client, here comes your weight loss client, here comes your fear of flying client, here comes your sports performance client. And you can realize you can use some of these same principles and just customize specifically for those issues. This is what builds massive confidence with that new hypnotist. This is why you can find testimonials online of people who have gone through my training event and are now out there working professionally as hypnotists. This isn't just education, this is real career training. Getting into, again, outlines, the structure. This is a twist on a classic strategy called ego strengthening. but the way that I've now morphed it into a universal mechanism of change. My handling of hypnotic phenomenon, how do we reliably get rid of that virus of I felt relaxed, but I don't know if I was hypnotized. That's what this is all about. This is something I crafted really out of necessity, because as early on in my trainings, this is what I was running into, and this was true for the new people, but this was more so of an issue for those people who were filling in the gaps. They had done substantial training elsewhere, and here's the thing, you know a lot of really great techniques in hypnosis. Now comes the challenge of how the hell do you put it all together? And what I did is just a bit of a theoretical exercise, which eventually sharpened the work that I do. So this kind of debunks that whole those who can't teach. No. Those who teach truly build towards that mastery and further refine what they do. This is where I have the option that students can come back and retake the class again. And my favorite feedback are the people who have done that. And what happens is they realize in a matter of 2 or 3 years' time that it's a different event. Why? Because I'm still back there seeing a couple of dozen clients a week, and I want to get better at this stuff too. So just sharpening those strategies, how do we get that result in a faster, more efficient span of time? So this is my first session framework, which basically there is no client issue that you cannot run through this system that this is not a fit for. Now, the disclaimer is that this is not me going, here's your protocol for everything. No, of course not. You know, and that's crap. Instead, here is a flexible framework that you can modify appropriately for any issue. The reason I do this is that this builds this confidence in the new student of hypnosis, even the well-seasoned student, where now it's no longer the old game of I need a script for this, I need a script for that. Someone called me for this new thing, what the hell do you do? Well, here's a framework that everything fits inside of. That's something that we teach, and eventually that becomes the big practice session that everybody keeps running. Hypnotic deepening and a little bit of a classic strategy. My take on the Dave Ellman induction, which is kind of a funny phrase because my take on the Dave Ellman induction is the original Dave Ellman induction. Quick rant. You'll see people who sometimes try to improve the method and they slap their name on the title of it. And really, if you look at the structure of what they've done, they've made it less effective. And this is not one person. There's several who have done this. This is the original Dave Ellman induction. But I want to point something out to you. We know communication is not just words. Hypnotic suggestions are sounds, sensations, words, actions, and tonality. So if you look here, my sort of outline, which really this is a transcript, and that's the mindset, another sidebar. Rather than scripts, these are transcripts of real client sessions because it's different every single time, and you're going to learn the systems of how to modify for the individual. But if you look here at this document, certain words are in bold and some are not. And basically, my training of a Dave Ellman induction is, yes, teaching this workhorse of a routine that just works for everybody. Instead, it really becomes this sort of master course in hypnotic tonality. So again, in which we start with this, then we layer on the classic strategies of hypnotic induction, progressive muscle relaxation, confusion inductions, fractionation inductions, instant and rapid inductions. You're going to learn how to put someone in a state of hypnosis in a matter of seconds. But the reason that we start with the Dave Ellman induction is this teaches you to think in terms of structure. This teaches you to think in terms of systems. So basically, the Dave Ellman induction is more or less 6 steps, and it teaches you to think in process. So now, as soon as we've done this and we move off to everything else, now you realize, as you're looking at a progressive muscle relaxation or learning how to craft one organically on the fly, you know the moving pieces of the hypnotic process. In the words of Dave Ellman, if you understand the rules of hypnotic suggestion, there's not a person in the world you cannot hypnotize. So again, it's where you realize that the getting into hypnosis is the easiest part of what we do. It's then the work of what we do afterwards, which is what the course really is about. You can see I've got, we sell out the class when I do it here at my office, 15 people. That way we do practice groups at times of sometimes 2, sometimes 3. I keep it to that size, so there's a lot of people that you get to practice with and really get that, that variety of really workshopping the methods. I also lock it off that small because you've maybe been in those events where there's 50, 60 people in the room and you're lost. So this way you're not just getting the feedback of other students, you're getting specific feedback from me So those little nuances of phrase it this way, phrase it that way, of how do we really refine these mechanisms in such a way that now you're getting that feedback, and again, that's what builds that confidence. So let me stick these handouts back here, and I already pulled the giant manual here. Let's see. My kids actually sometimes help out with things around the business, but this is like meditative for me. I enjoy this part, so I'm not about to let this up. Now that I filmed a video, though, this is a training video for someone else, so we might hire it out. But I'll show you, as a former theatrical stage manager working in professional theater and working with a lot of new plays. That's the old career dating back to like 2004, 2005, before I burned out beautifully and took the hobby of hypnosis and turned it into a career. Paper snob, 32-pound paper, cardstock. Yeah, I care. Ooh, look at that, the cover is in color, which again, this is the resource in the classroom, and the students at the live event get the digital versions of everything as well. That way, if you want to print out extra copies, have it on a tablet device, or just archive it because paper doesn't last forever, that's why we've got that too. I want to show you one more thing before I wrap up this video, which is that no matter where you are in the world, I ship you a package of books in advance of the course. So again, I've had people fly in for this event. Well, I'm in Northern Virginia, and I have to tell the story in the right way. So if you don't know the geography of Northern Virginia, I'm in Springfield, which basically there's this big cluster of highways where 495, which is the Beltway, because it's a big loop, and then there's 395 that goes from where I am all the way up to DC, and then there's 95, which then goes all the way down to like Florida. So I'm in that sort of cluster where everything comes together. So I'm in Springfield. A couple of months ago, I had someone in Fairfax, Virginia, which is practically where I live. It's a 15-minute drive. Go, I don't know, that seems kind of far away. Do you ever do anything local to me? To which I then got to respond, there's 2 people flying in for the next event from Seattle, Washington. Tell me again where you live. How far is that? I had to. Which actually, for an upcoming event, we've got 2 people so far that are coming in from Australia. I've had the United Kingdom, I've had Israel, I've had Dubai. So we've had people come in from all around the world to do this event. Because yes, there's hypnotic workers, which check out hypnoticworkers.com. That's not entirely a sales pitch, because when you sign up for Work Smart Hypnosis Live, you get this 150+ hour video library, lifetime access. And I'll tell you right now, if you're looking around at other trainings, no one else is giving you that as part of the training the way that I do, because I had to invent the technology to build that out. There's upsells and such that other people offer. Work Smart Hypnosis Live includes hypnotic workers, which as soon as you sign up, you get access to that right away. The live event stands on its own, which I give you that as a disclaimer, because sometimes a person does sign up the day before. Sometimes someone has a family event and we have to move someone to the next event, and I send out emails going, hey, a spot opened up for Thursday, and we've got to make some room for someone. So the live event does stand on its own. But what I do is I give you some materials in advance, which basically if, and again the key phrase is, if you're able to do some work in advance of the course, you're going to find yourself in a better position. You can easily catch up after the event. It's a non-issue if you sign up the day before. We'll catch up. But for those that sign up well in advance, as often the case is as we sell out the events now, I send you this package of books, and I may be adding a few more to this one over the next couple of months, but I'll kind of work in order here. So my book that hit #1 on Amazon, Work Smart Business, I throw in a signed copy of that one to send out to you. Then here is, I mentioned Dave Ellman. Larry Ellman, the son of Dave Ellman, wrote this little blueprint book, the Blueprint of the Dave Ellman Induction. As small as this thing is, it is packed full of just amazing advice that really teaches you how to think systematically about hypnosis. And out of respect to Cheryl and Larry, I buy copies of this. What you see on this website and on the Work Smart Hypnosis Live site is all inclusive. So this is all included. You don't have to then go buy a bunch of books. Let's see. Then there's Art of Hypnosis by Roy Hunter, which this is a book I think I only read about maybe 5 or 6 years once I got into hypnosis. And while the catchphrase from Scott Sandland, who organizes Hypnothoughts Live, is learn from people who disagree with each other. It's not that I disagree with some things in here, it's just I have my own ways of doing it. However, I do have to say, This is one of the best from startup to refining your strategies books that's out there. I've coordinated directly with Roy, and we make that book available to you included with the class. We get into evidence-based hypnosis in this course. So this is not about learning techniques that are just fun to do. Instead, so much of the work is based upon what are the techniques that are being used in clinical trials of hypnosis, and what is it that's making them effective. So we can look at these studies where they're proving the efficacy of hypnosis. Then you dig deeper into the article, and then you find out what methods they were using. That's what we mean by evidence-based hypnosis. So again, it's not the stuff that's in the books from like 50, 60 years ago that a lot of the world has now sort of disproven and moved on to better things. So this book from Dr. Richard Nongard and Kelly T. Woods, Reframing Hypnotherapy, is all about evidence-based techniques for using in your hypnosis sessions. This is the next wave of all things hypnosis. And again, if that's not a direction that you're not yet looking at as the seasoned hypnotist, you got to come over to this side of things because it's just so much more effective. And again, we have the efficacy to back that up. So a little bit longer of a video. I'll be moving the tables around and getting things in motion. I hate this room when the papers aren't on the wall. So like the next class starts in 4 days, and I'm going to probably come in the morning of the first day and then take the papers down. The cool thing about this format, this is something that I've been doing for years. You can find videos of mine dating back 7, 8 years ago now with these 3M Post-its. They're just big, which is that, as the class progresses, I'm organically putting them up for the first time, and then they stay around the room. So this becomes this cool event where now we're in here learning the work and doing the practice sessions and setting it up, talking about the goals of the students, getting into business strategy. But then we've got this room for practice. We've got a hallway out there. There are 2 practitioner rooms. There's my video production studio. There's a lobby. There's a ton of breakout space. You want to learn, if possible, hypnosis. I have to say that. You'll see why. You want to learn, if possible, the work of professional hypnosis in a space where the work is actually done. Yes, I at times do this event off at conventions or around the world, yet really, if you can make it here, that's the way to do it. But it's the same quality training. It's just that little bit of a nuance that when you're learning it in the space where the work of professional hypnosis is actually done. So any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Send me an email. There's a scheduling application on various websites of mine, or just find me on Facebook and shoot me a message there. I love talking about this stuff. I want to help you to get out there to help a ton of people. The reason why I teach what I'm currently doing right now comes from a place of just giving, that the more we're all successful, the more we're all successful. It's where a new client may call me up and I don't drop the phrase that, oh, you can go to that other hypnotist in town, but they're my student. No, I guess I refer to them pretty frequently as well. So there's so many people in the world that can benefit from this process of hypnosis. And as it is right now, there are not enough of us out there who can help those people. This is that passion of training that I'm excited to share with you. So if you've found this on YouTube or other places, the website is in the description. We'll keep this video bare bones. It's just worksmarthypnosislive.com. Check that out. Any questions, reach out to me, and I'll see you in class soon.